The portrait Panetta sketches of Barack Obama sometimes looks more like a professor than a president.
He relies on the logic of his presentation with the hope that ultimately people will embrace that logic and then do what's right. You know what? In 50 years, my experience is logic doesn't work in Washington. You got to basically go after people and make them understand what they have to do. And that means you create a war room, you go after votes, you have to push people.
So did you have a sense that the president found that distasteful, or that it wasn't something he wanted to do or was comfortable doing? Or
I think it offended him that people would not really get serious and work on the issues. And I think as a result of that, he just felt, you know, how can I deal with people that simply don't want to do the right thing for the country? Well, the reality is, if you want to govern in this country, you have to deal with people you don't like.
And you have to keep your word, which he argues the president did not do when Syria used chemical weapons against its own people, violating the president's clearly drawn red line.
The president very clearly should have said, you have crossed that red line, and we're not going to allow that to happen. And I think initially my sense was they were going to do exactly that. But somehow they backed away from it. I think that was a key moment in time in terms of sending a message to the world that there was a question mark as to whether or not the United States would stand by its word.
Panetta tries to reconcile the president who vacillated over Syria with the decisive Obama who gave the bin Laden raid a green light.
A president that made the decision to go after bin Laden and made a very gutsy decision to do that. And I really respected that decision. I just could not have imagined him not making the same decision when it came to the credibility of the United States on drawing that red line in Syria.
To no one's surprise, the White House has not warmly welcomed this version of history.
Former administration officials, as soon as they leave, write books, which I think is inappropriate, but anyway.
Does he have a point there?
You know, I'm of the view that you don't put a hold on history. History is what it is. You know, and I would say right now, I recommend the President and Vice President Biden take the time to read the book, because I think, when you read it, it's a pretty balanced presentation of what happened.